Alright, so today we're going to be playing Roblox Grace, which is inspired by a variety of games like Rooms, Rooms and Doors, Doors, Pressure, Pizza Tower, Mandela Catalog, Inscription, and even the Bible. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going into the test servers, which is where one of the main updates happened. So to make a test server, you go to custom lobbies. Doesn't matter what you do, but you have to make sure that you have your commands on. You can be with friends, you can be with whoever. Doesn't really matter, but as long as commands are on. Now, once you're actually in the game, you want to go to your chat and type .test. And once you do, you'll be teleported straight into the test lobbies. So one of the newest features is this plug, where it's similar to a key card. You go up to the door, pick up the plug, and take it to its socket, insert it in the socket, and your door opens. Now, usually in the normal game, there'll be 3 levers, but instead of that, there's going to be 2 levers and a socket. There's also wall jumping, which is really fun. You're going to want to sprint and you just jump off the side of the wall. Once you reach the wall, you jump, or you press the jump button. But you can only wall jump twice. Once you've wall jumped twice, you have to touch the floor again. And once you've touched the floor, then you can continue wall jumping. So it's not that bad, but it's just to prevent so you can't just like start flying on the hallways. Here's an example. 2 levers and a plug. Our first threat is Carnation, shown by the pink tentacles on the side of the screen and the pink static. You just want to keep going, and in the test servers, there'll be this drawn thing that says hide. You just go there and stand where it's hidden. Now, once you reach your first safe room called Safe Room 0, because you're in a test lobby, you'll have the option to vote. But for now, I'm not going to be showing any of the new things. That'll come later in the video. So just vote for none. And in the test thing only, not in normal lobbies, you'll get the note for the goat man. When the timer hits 0, the goat man comes and kills you. But with the flashlight, if you flash him, you get a badge if you survive it, and he'll temporarily be stunned. But it's only for a short amount of time before he continues his attack. You can keep stunning him, but you have to get to the safe room for him to permanently be gone. Now, with wall jumping though, you can do stuff like this, where you just jump on top of the wall, which is very handy if Carnation's coming, because you're safe from him there. So, that's pretty fun. So now at your next safe room, the next entity called Slight appears. So Slight is similar to Eyes in Doors, or, well yeah, just Eyes in Doors I guess, where you don't want to look at him, except unlike Doors, he can't teleport around the room. If he does see you, then he'll take a little bite of you and you'll take 50% of your HP and half your screen will go white. To know that he's coming, he will, well, the room that he's in will have a blue like aura around it. So then at our next safe room, you get introduced to 2 entities instead of 1. So the first one is Slugfish, which is inspired from Pressure in its design and the badge you get. Well, he's pretty simple to counter. Your screen will go white, and similar to Carnation, you'll have tendrils on your screen, but they're white. Just get to the side of the room and you're safe. Then the Elkman, well I think he's called the Elkman at least. You just want to break his line of sight. If you see him, he's like a tall black figure with white eyes, I guess, that look at you. You want to break a line of sight and he will disappear. Also, your screen will go static and have a little bit of fuzz on it when he comes. So here is the Elkman. As you see, he moves a little bit, get behind the wall, and you're safe. And here Slugfish comes. You do have a little bit of time, but he does come super fast, so I'd recommend not risking it unless your time is super low, because he could just like go straight through you and kill you. Alright, so here I did get like in the way of Eyes, and he did get me. Also another thing, if Carnation or any of the entities spawn and you're in a safe room, don't open the door because they go straight through you and kill you. Then once you reach the next safe room, you'll be introduced to Heed. Heed is kind of like Slight, except just a little bit different. Instead of blue aura, it'll be red. And instead of looking away from him, you have to look at him. Now, in most circumstances, there's no big problem with that. But if it's a sliding door where you have to slide through it, then it's a little bit of a problem. But you can try to gain momentum by going forwards and backwards and try to slide backwards. But it is somewhat difficult. Now in here, I don't really know what I was doing, but I died. I ran to the elk man, he blocked my way. I don't really know what happened. But this brings us to our next entity, which is God. Well, the God of Grace at least. You can't say it's God because in some of his lines, once you die, he says that you're going on the path that he made for you. And he is that big white light in the sky. So, I mean, I guess he's God. Now, here's another one. Back to Heed, who I actually got Heed. There he is. He's red. I got a sliding door here, so I went forwards. And I slid backwards and got rid of him. And then there was a circuit breaker room as well. So for our final safe room, you'll be introduced to your last two entities in the normal game, not counting the two new ones that are in test mode. Firstly, Sorrow. Your screen will go red, start to rain, or start shaking. You want to get under anything that can cover you. Then Dozer, my favorite. A smiley face will appear on your screen. You just want to crouch and stand still, otherwise he will kill you. So I couldn't get footage of Sorrow and Dozer spawning together, so I just got someone else's. So as you can see, Sorrow spawned there, made the whole screen red, started raining. The whole screen starts to shake, but if you're under a door frame or just under something, then you're safe. Then Dozer, smiley face spawns, you'll hear the ticking noise. You just have to crouch and stop moving, but, well, they did it. Now, I'm 99% sure that that jump scare from Dozer is somewhat inspired by analog horror, or specifically the Mandela catalog as it's shown. Mainly because of the analog horror eyes. For our second to last entity, which is definitely inspired by the Mandela catalog, is called Doppel. Doppel is only accessed by that voting thing, which you can only get with commands on in the test build. He's not like Dozer or any of the other entities where he spawns after a certain amount of doors and in a certain safe room. So his note, as was shown before, when he spawns, it'll just say, uh-oh, bad decision, which is one of the scenes from the Mandela catalog, and he will spawn a shadow clone of you. So the shadow clone literally follows your exact actions and your exact movements, your exact angles. So as you can see, I've wall jumped here. He does the exact same wall jump. So he's not that hard to counter, because if you just start like moving in circles around this space, even if you are in a close space, you can psych him out. So it's not too bad. Let's say he does somehow catch you, he will invert your whole screen, well, your whole screen's colors, and he'll also invert your controls, which is more of a problem on PC, I'm guessing, for people that aren't used to inverted controls. But for me, it's not too much of a problem, because just using the slider wheel in a different direction isn't too hard. Now for the final entity, which is, to me at least, a clone of Dozer, except very little difference, but it's still a very cool entity, and it's called Litany. So once again, it only spawns from the safe rooms. As you can see, it took me a while to actually get him. But Litany, his note, don't keep your head high when it looks, which is as obvious as it says. When its eye opens, and it has three of them, unless you use a modifier, which I'll show after, its eye will open, and you just have to crouch. You can be moving, unlike with Dozer, but as long as you're crouched, you're perfectly fine. Also, a little tip, this is something that I sometimes do, well, by accident or by purpose. If you're in some space that's like really safe and you do have Doppel chasing you, just like get hit by Doppel. Doppel doesn't really do any actual damage that can kill you. It just adverts your control and is more of an annoyance. So if you're in a safe room that has no big problems, like you're already in a safe spot, just let Doppel hit you, because it's better then just to get rid of the problem than deal with it later when you actually need to move properly at least. So here we go, it literally spawns anywhere on your screen. It will flash red when it's about to open its eye. If its eye opens and it sees you whilst you're uncrouched, then it will kill you. Probably by decapitation, seeing as under note you have little red lines where your head would be. But as long as you're crouching, even if you're moving, like I said before, perfectly fine. So if you do want to take the risk, you can like uncrouch whilst its eyes closed and then crouch again once its eyes red. I wouldn't recommend doing that though, because obviously there's a lot of risk doing it. But if there's like 10, 20 seconds left on the clock and you don't want to waste time, it's better off doing that than have to suffer goat man. So as you just saw there, sometimes there's a chance for God or whatever to spawn in the door, and it'll just make the door completely black. And if you go into it, then it will teleport you, probably, well, at least from all my experiences, a few doors forward, and that may just be straight to the safe zone. So as you saw there, I did a modifier. Well, I voted for the modifier where literally gets more eyes. So I'm not sure if it does stack multiple times because I haven't tried. But here I got literally to 4 eyes. There's literally no benefit to it except for just having that percentage increase. But yeah, anyways, that's mostly it for Grace so far. Well, that's pretty good for a first video, I would say, if we ignore that edit thing that I made. I might make a guide on all the Grace badges and how you get them, seeing as there's not a lot and it's pretty easy. But anyways, goodbye, I guess.